All right, I think we are live. I hope we're live. We will see if we're live or not. But I tell you what, it is Thursday night, 7 p.m., which means it is YSS Let's Talk. And live, I say, because we're live right here on Facebook. And by the way, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. We are, Matthew, how many days are we away from Christmas right now?
Oh, was it 22?
20. Oh my gosh, I've got shopping to do. I seriously have shopping to do, serious shopping. So if you haven't got your shopping done, do some shopping. But if you also want to do some shopping for some other folks, maybe some giving, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit with our YSS Holiday Giving Program. Matthew's an expert there. I'm going to ask him to help me out in just a little bit to promote that. Speaking of Matthew, we have Matthew Voorhees here, our YSS Residential Program Director. And Matthew, welcome to YSS Let's Talk.
Well, thanks for having me on here, Rusty. I'm excited for it, and I think we're going to have a great time.
Oh, I guarantee you we're going to have a great time. We're going to talk about everything tonight, and let's just get right to it, Matthew. We're talking about the YSS Residential Program. Okay, so if somebody's tuning in right now, and they're like, what is this residential program that we're talking about? Maybe, even if they don't know of YSS, which I'd be surprised if they don't, we're an agency that spans throughout, and reaches throughout the entire state, has many, many different programs. But tonight we're talking about that residential program. What does that look like? Can you give like a quick 411 snapshot of it?
Yeah, well, and like you said, YSS does stretch across the state of Iowa. For sure, and we provide a lot of different services. Our residential addiction treatment program is one of about 4 other similar programs in the state of Iowa, so there's not that many. And we provide treatment for substance use primarily. That's the primary diagnosis that we're dealing with. And these are for people, adolescents who are ages 12 to 18. So we're working with adolescents, girls and boys, ages 12 to 18, who are struggling with substance abuse. They, of course, most of them come with other issues as well, but they do have to have a primary diagnosis of substance abuse. And so we get referrals from juvenile courts, from Department of Human Services, and from families, from all kinds of different folks. Looking for help for those adolescents ages 12 to 18.
Okay, and I know, Matthew, with my position, and apologies for me not introducing myself to the folks out there. My name's Rusty Johnson, a YSS prevention specialist, and I go into various schools, different programs, and I teach sexual health education. And it's kind of a tricky topic to teach, and we use a lot of evidence-based curriculums through YSS. And one of the programs that I go through to teach is our residential programs. And so I get the chance to actually go into the programs that you're the director of, Matthew, and work with the youth 12 to 18 that you're speaking of. And one thing that I just can never get over is the home-like environment that it is when I walk into these programs. So we're not talking like kind of like a hospital type of a setting or an institute. So that's, can you give a little bit of a layout there of what this looks like?
Yeah, and just to be clear, I didn't share it before. This is a 90 to 120 day program. So these clients will come and live with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's usually about 90 to 120 days. But it is we do pride ourselves in the home-like environment. They're not institutional setting like you were talking about. It's not like going to a hospital. It's not like being in a long cold hallway or something like that. It's very homey, very personable, and we pride ourselves in that, not just in the setting itself, but in how we connect with families, how we connect with workers, just our personal contact that we have. That's something that I think we do really, really well.
Yeah. And you have a connection here, Matthew, if I can bring this up. You have some personal investment here.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading your bio. First off, you've been involved with doing this for what, 20 years? Is
Yep.
that 20 years?
Hard to believe, but it is.
You do not look that old. That I guarantee you. But 20 years that you've been involved in serving the youth and working in programs as such, but you also have kind of a personal connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind? Can I ask you to touch on that a bit?
Well, yeah. I'm kind of like our YSS CEO, Andrew Allen. He went through treatment. I know he talks about that all the time too. But I went through treatment myself, 20 years ago. I was in jail. I had been in the psych ward. I had suicide attempts, and I was facing prison time, and was convicted of a few felonies, and just was really lost in life. And so I went through treatment. I didn't go to YSS at that time because I was in a completely different state, completely different time. But I did go through treatment, and it really changed my life. I was on a spiral downward, and I needed treatment to really shake that up and change that completely. And so I went through treatment, and once I was done with treatment, I've been working in treatment ever since. I ended up getting pardoned, actually, by the governor of Indiana, which is where I was from and where my convictions were from. And so I was able to earn a governor's pardon for my felony. So worked hard on that. And that's what I really like to share with our clients, that no matter where they're coming from, what they've done, what has happened, that they can overcome, things can change. And so I share that really personally with the clients and with their families, even in the darkest days, because that's a lot of times we get our clients, we get families calling when they're in their darkest moments and they just don't see what hope is. They can't envision hope. And I can tell them a little bit that it may seem impossible today, and it seemed impossible for me at the moment too back then, but it is totally possible. You just got to hang in there. You got to do a little work, and it can happen. So,
yeah. And I mean, I don't want to say it takes one to know one, but because everybody's situation's different. And I know that's something, Matthew, you respect too, that all the youth that come into our programs, everybody is on a different place in their journey. They have different reinforcements. They have different support systems around them. But for you to come in and actually know a little piece of that, a really personal piece, I mean, that is so awesome. So awesome. And thank you for sharing that. And the needs. Then you kind of have this unique take on the needs of residential treatment. So let me go there and just ask you that. How would you sum up, or what do you think the needs are for residential treatment?
Well, for someone coming in there, there's usually a lot of family strife that's been going on, family dynamics that are difficult, either because of the use or because of other things, and the use has grown out of that. And so they are complex problems, complex issues. There, like you said, there is no one case that's the same as the other. They are all very unique and very different. But we really like to start from scratch, and it's amazing. We'll get 13, 14-year-old boys and girls, and when you think of that age, it's so young, it's so innocent. But we have some 13, 14-year-olds that are coming into us who have been already hooked on, opioids or, marijuana, meth, stuff like that they're just already hooked on that, and it's already destroying their lives. And it's amazing how much we have to start from scratch. Just believing in themselves, building their self-esteem, building their identity, helping them to be confident in who they are, helping them to find something positive each day. One of the real simple things that I used to do and that I, talk to our clients about is, it's hard sometimes to feel positive, but you can kind of be positive each day. You can be thankful each day. It's hard to feel gratitude, but you can be grateful each day, and that can just start from some journaling, from just saying, hey, I woke up this morning and my room was warm, or my meal was warm, or I had a good breakfast, or really simple things. And but it may seem simple, it may seem silly, but those are building blocks that we can build on with these clients and help get them to working on their own identity, on how they interact with their peers, and then how they interact with their family as well. So
yeah, and I mean, you just hit on, I mean, Matthew, we could spend 2 hours just talking about what you just said. I mean, and yes, this holistic approach, and again, jumping back and saying that I go into these houses and I teach these youth. Out of all the places I teach, and I have told them this, maybe I shouldn't, but I say that they're my favorite. And they really are, because I have this connection with them because of my past too, being raised in the Iowa foster care system and going through various treatment programs as well. I went through programs that were a little bit more, I don't know the correct word, but maybe like institutionalized, if you will. So it was more hospital settings. And I love it when I come in. And if I can use an example that just happened today, I was actually teaching in one of the programs of yours today. And the youth were so excited because they were cooking a meal.
Yep.
And so you know what I'm talking about. And I've got pictures. Yes, they were, I don't know. This is might be, I'm just going here. I don't know if you can see this, but
yep.
I sent a picture of this Asian meal that they are cooking. And they are, and I think there's like crab ragoons, maybe some sesame chicken, fried rice. And oh my gosh, I told them I am so jealous. And so guess what? We have high chai coming right now because I am so hungry for this now. But that's unique. That wasn't anything like what I went through when I went through the different programs. And so with YSS and our residential programs, they are unique and they're really different. Can you talk a little bit about what sets these YSS programs apart?
Well, what you're just talking about there is something that we do actually every week. We call it a kind of a culture meal. And so all of our clients at all of our locations, every Thursday, we rotate through our clients so they can pick out a meal that's special to them, that reminds them of home, that is something that they kind of like maybe grew up on, that just gives them that homey feel. So at each of our locations, every Thursday night, you should expect a meal like that. And we go buy whatever ingredients they need. And that was fantastic. I mean, what you just showed, she did a great job. And she worked really hard on that. I think she worked on that for about an hour, and just made it really good. And that's every Thursday. And that's that personal contact that we have, that personal connection. We want them to be as close to home as possible. Granted, they're not home. Granted, this is a hard time. This is a difficult time. Going through treatment is not easy. But we have that. And, we also have a great clinical team and great leadership staff that talk with the parents, with the guardians, with the workers of these individuals, these children who are with us. And we just keep them connected in a lot of great ways. And, even during this time of COVID, which has been hard because we usually do, passes where they can go home and be out for different kinds of passes and stuff. But COVID's kind of limited us on that. We're still doing visits. We still have the phone calls and that they can do each day. And again, just the contact that the counselors have and that the program staff have with the families, we keep that strong. And then too, every day we have wellness opportunities, and we have great partnerships in the community. There's some CrossFit that our clients can do from time to time. There's gyms they can get out to. Boys and Girls Club has been open for us. We have some pet therapy comes in with some animals.
And Lulu's the dog that comes in, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Lulu? Yeah,
big dog, the biggest dog that you've ever seen in your life.
Oh my gosh. And so you're talking, I mean, you were just talking about some of the different things, but for people that are tuning in, I first want to say welcome to you. It's YSS Let's Talk Live every single Thursday night. We are here. Tonight we're talking with Matthew Voorhees, our YSS Residential Program Director, and we're talking about our residential programs at YSS, directly dealing with youth 12 to 18, substance abuse use programs, and you can help me with my terminology here, Matthew. But and you said the stay typically is 90 to 120 days for these 12 to 18-year-old.
Yep,
youth.
That's the typical stay. Yep.
Okay, so now, and you were just talking about some of the things that they do. For people that are tuning in, what does a typical day look like?
Well, we do, we follow a trauma-informed care approach, and that's really, really important to us. So there are several of us staff who are trauma-informed trainers, and we train our staff in trauma-informed care approaches. And one of the biggest things for trauma-informed care is consistency, structure, and predictability. It's really a cornerstone for trauma-informed care. And so our days are really structured. And that's really important. It's important for the clients, and it's important for staff. It's important for everyone involved. And so they're going to wake up in the morning, and it's going to be structured from the time they wake up.
Is this kind of what it goes by right here, what we're seeing up on screen?
I can kind of see it.
I know we're both leaning in.
I'm looking close. Yeah, I mean, they get up, they have breakfast. They're going to do their hygiene. They're going to go to groups. Yep, they're going to go to groups in the morning. The boys will go to groups in the morning. The girls have school in the morning. Central Iowa, we do half days of school. In North Iowa, there's full days of school that happens, and we partner with the Ames Community Schools here in Central Iowa and Mason City Public Schools in North Iowa. So they're going to do schooling throughout the day, but then they also have groups. They have lunch, chore time, dinner. They have wellness mixed in there, so they're doing some recreational things that can go out and be outside or do some exercise activities. And then after dinner, they have usually some AA, NA kind of groups that go on. And throughout the day, of course, they have med times. We do med management with our clients. And then they're in bed at a reasonable time. They're in bed around 9, lights out around 9, and back up again the next morning. So we keep it pretty structured. And in the evenings too, they do their phone calls with their families. On the weekends, they have their visits with their families as well. But every day is really structured, and we write that up. The staff write that up on a board every morning, what the day is going to be, what the structure is going to be. And then the kids know, here's what's going to happen. Here's how the day is going to go.
Which there's some safety, I think, in knowing that predictability too.
Very much so.
That's that kind of a safety or reassurance, and being able maybe even to take some risks on your recovery, that you might reach out if you have that reassurance of knowing that structure. And the great thing too is we're a part of YSS. And with all of those other programs that we offer, be it mentoring, be it like what I do, sexual health education, and the experts that we have on staff under that umbrella of YSS, substance abuse experts that we have come in and teach, we offer all of those programs as well. So I'd consider that pretty darn unique. Am I wrong there?
It's pretty thorough. I mean, like what you do with the sex ed, We have the drug prevention that comes in and teaches. We have job education, workforce development. I mean, it's pretty all encompassing, the services that we provide and what we teach in our groups every day to these kids.
So that is absolutely awesome. And if folks are tuning in again, welcome to you. First and foremost, you are welcome. We are live right now. If it's 7 p.m. on December 3rd, and you're tuning in here, you're welcome to make a comment or ask a question. Please do that. You know, I know that there might be also folks that are watching this, Matthew, and they're thinking, wow, this is such a comprehensive program, has so many benefits. How do I know if my youth or my child needs help? How do I know if this is a service for them? What would be your recommendation for that, or your words of wisdom?
Well, I think we have a page on our website. It's if you go to yss.org and you go to programs, that page right there, and it gives some common warning signs. And I think these are the things that you kind of look to, declining grades in school, skipping classes, the secretive behavior. If you've been on a really good even keel with your kids, and then suddenly that changes and you start feeling like something's weird, something's off, something's different. Of course, you want to try to have that communication with them first and see what's going on. If you're still feeling that things are kind of going rough, then call somebody. Call somebody like YSS. It never hurts to call. We can talk to you. We have, it's not just residential treatment that YSS provides. We provide therapy. We provide outpatient treatment. We provide med management. We provide a lot of different things. And so if you just call our main line and reach out to us, then even us for residential, if you call residential and it's not residential, isn't something that you need, we're going to give you some resources. We're going to talk to you about, here's some places you could go to, some things you could look at, and give you some advice too. So we're going to help you whether you're coming to us or not. That's just what we do. So
yeah. And again, you just hit on so much what YSS has to offer, which is one thing. I am so honored to be a part of an organization, an agency like we are, that has this umbrella that you just hit on. We have got mental health therapists. We've got all of the, all the specialties like we were just talking about. It's kind of like this, here we go again. I say it every single YSS Let's Talk. It takes a village. And we've got this village that we bring around the table. Now, if anybody's listening that's like me, though, and be it that I might have a child or I might know of somebody who, I go to YSS.org, I go on that page we were just showing, and I say, yeah, we might have some serious signs here. But I'm worried about, how is this going to get paid for? How is this going to, that's a concern. And how is it paid for? How is this structured, Matthew?
Yeah. There's a lot of options there. For all of our clients that come to us, their insurance does help cover that. There is some out-of-pocket expenses. I mean, with anything, if you go to a hospital, if you go to emergency room, if you go to things like that, you always have some kind of out-of-pocket expense that you have, and that's going to be the same with us. But if whether you're on Medicaid or commercial insurance, those do help cover the treatment here. And once you get the out-of-pocket expense done, it is. And I used to talk with my admissions manager quite a bit. It is like kind of going to a hospital because it's the level of care that's needed, but it's not the hospital feel. And so there is going to be that out-of-pocket expense, but that's, it's worth it to invest in helping to stop that downward spiral, like I talked about earlier in my own life. If I hadn't had that downward spiral stopped, I would have crashed and it would have been done, no doubt. And so, what I really like about working with adolescents at these ages is that we can plant the seeds and we can stop things from getting too far. Because sometimes when we've been doing it, we've been using, and we're becoming adults, and we affect our children that we end up having. We affect so many more people around us. And if we had just gotten the help at a younger age, like what we provide, then it can stop it, and it can stop the spread, and can save a lot of lives, not just the people who are coming in. So, yeah.
Yeah, and right on. I mean, for folks that are listening, again, right now, you can go to yss.org. You can find out exactly about what we're talking about and the numbers to call if you might have a loved one, a youth 12 to, you said 12 to 18, correct, that might need help. And I know that maybe some folks are listening to this and they're like, I don't have a youth necessarily that I know that needs help, but this is so awesome. And you know what? We want to be a part of this, helping plant those seeds that you were just talking about, helping be a part of this early on, and being a part of that village that we're talking about, because Gracious knows it takes a village to pull something like this off. So if somebody's watching right now and they're thinking, how can I help? How can I be a part of this? What do you say, Matthew?
Well, we want you. So that's first, we want you to be a part of it. And I'll tell you that I know that when people become a part of it, when you interact and you work with something like this, your life gets changed too. And so if you're wanting to help, we have mentoring possibilities, which is a huge thing. We need mentors so much for boys.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that. When you're saying mentoring, what are we talking about?
Well, that can be like an hour a week, or just some phone calls, calling and talking with the client, or allowing the client to call and talk with you every once in a while. Just being a voice of hope, a voice to, if the client's having a really bad day and they're just like, and they want to emotionally vomit sometimes, you're just there to talk with them about that and let them do it. And man, that it means so much to them, and it will change you. It will affect you in a really good way. I know we've had a lot of mentors, and we still need more mentors all the time, because we have new clients coming in all the time. And, even the clients who have a great family, it's great to have another person available to talk to. And so mentoring can be just the phone calls. You can come in and visit with them. I know with COVID, sometimes that, we're a little concerned about that. So phone calls can be just as good. But having that extra connection is so great. We also have a lot of volunteer opportunities. So if you just want to come and help around the place, doing a job outside or inside, or helping with something, you can go to yss.org too and sign up to be a volunteer and say you're interested in helping in residential treatment. The same with mentoring. And we will get you hooked up. No doubt about it. We will get you hooked up, and we'll have plenty of things for you to do.
And I'm sure that people can bring their creative ideas too. I mean, we were talking about the animal therapy, and I love it because sometimes when I come in and I teach a class, the kids, we have to start class a little bit later on for my class, because animal therapy is there before, and you cannot traipse on Lulu's turf. If Lulu is there, the dog, I got to hold off, and I'll take a back seat and just wait till that animal, because how creative though, how awesome is that programs like this, and that takes volunteers, I assume, to pull off programs like this.
It does. And we get, I think I mentioned CrossFit earlier, and the CrossFit's only possible because a person in the community has felt the desire to share that. It's somebody who runs a CrossFit, and they want to give space and time to have the kids and come and be a part of that. And so if you have a business or something like that you think our clients could benefit from, we would gladly partner with you.
Okay. And so there you go. CrossFit. I mean, we've got, whoever you are watching this, there is a role for you in this, I promise. So that's just as simple as going to www.yss.org or calling. And you could even call the main number 515-233-3141 and talk with anybody. And they will direct you. And the mentoring program, like we were just talking about, Matthew, is so impactful. And I think you hit on it too, where, you know, it can look like however kind of you create that relationship with the youth that you're mentoring. So be it a phone call, you know, with right now, that means so much to so many youth right now in this COVID world that we're living. You know, minus COVID, it could be in person, it could be going out, I mean, the mentors in my life made all of the difference.
Yep.
All the difference. And I'm sure you had those mentors in your life too, Matthew, which now you are one. And so kind of on the other side of the fence. So Matthew, anything else that you want to talk about or that you want to plug for this program? It's such an awesome thing. And we have what? How many residential programs do we have with YSS?
Well, we have the girls and boys in Central Iowa, and then we have a North Iowa for boys. So that's up in Mason City. Central Iowa is here in Ames.
And right there we see those houses, which is what I was talking about. They're so cool.
Yep. And even Mason City, you know, it's definitely a different kind of building, but it is that's just been remodeled and a brand new facility up there for those boys. It's beautiful. I mean, you walk in there and it's just beautiful. And so it's really nice. And, you know, we talk about donations, and, you know, Christmas is coming up too. Donations are huge for us. So if there's anything that people want to give, you know, we had somebody giving a refrigerator to us here just this week, which we needed because it just turns out that the refrigerator that we had at the girls' house is going bad and we need a new one. So somebody stepped up and was like, okay, I'll give you one. And that's just, I mean, who does that? That's just fantastic. And it's so, and, you know, the Christmas time, of course, you know, our clients don't get to be at home like they normally would be, and, you know, because they are in treatment. And so having gifts that can be given to them. And I know there's some holiday giving through YSS that they can be a part of.
Well, and let's talk about that a little bit because we have been, you know, this is a long-standing tradition of YSS, our holiday giving. It's Holiday Giving 2020 right now out there. And people, this is looking a lot different this year, but it's still equal impact. And thank you to everybody who has stepped up to the plate to make Christmas so much of a brighter time because of your impact and because of your giving. And holiday giving is ultimately a time that we in Iowa can come around and kind of come under the umbrella of YSS and help out all of the families that might need just a little bit of extra help, and families with kids out there, and families, of course, that we serve, and families in your community, and so many different things. So Matthew, I know you've been a part of the holiday giving. Again, sorry to keep on asking you to give quick 411s, but you're an expert here. You've been around forever. So can you give a quick 411 of holiday giving and how folks can get involved?
Well, again, I'd encourage you to call our main line, the 515-233, was it 3141? I think it's in the main line. You know, you call them and they'll get you directed to the right people to talk to about that. But it's not just residential that you can give to. We have, you know, teen club, kids club. We have, you know, all kind of other services that we provide things for. And I just know that each year when I me and my staff go to pick up all the things that we're going to give to our residential clients from donations, it's just, it blows my mind. There's so many great things, you know. you're talking just simple things like socks, sock caps, gloves, coats, just good clothing. Some of our kids come with us and they don't have good clothing, or they've never really had even a good Christmas. Some of them have, but some of them have not. And so little things can really count. And, the gift cards that we get for the kids to be able to use is just amazing as well. So, but I would just encourage people. I think the site was on there for a bit on our page here. And that place there. And you can go there or just call the main line, and we'll help get you to where you need to be.
Yeah, so it sounds like we've got some virtual trees out there. A virtual giving tree, always a good outlet. But we also have, we have physical trees in locations too, where people can go. All of this that I'm talking about, if it confuses you, that's where you go. Right there is YSS.org. And to the giving and the giving tree. And you can find out, because we have individual families that are in need, that have requests, specific requests. And there's also there's things that you can go, and you could of course make a donation, but I know that there's also specific items and specific needs, like you were just talking about, be it socks, toothbrushes, be it things like that. This is the time to get involved. Jump on board right there, www.yss.org /holiday giving 2020. Please be a part of this. We still have more need out there. And again, it's that village effort. Time to jump on board, come around. Mentorship, if that's your calling and you want to become a mentor and you have some time to give back to that. Other ways to volunteer, Matthew's talked about. CrossFit, I don't even know what CrossFit is, Matthew, but you talking about that. It sounds laborious. So I don't know if I can. Is that like a physical activity we're talking about?
Oh yeah, it is definitely physical. So it's working out, that's for sure. More than I do these days.
So there you go. If you have some ideas, ways that you can volunteer, become a part of this. So, well, Matthew Voorhees, thank you so much for talking. Any final words that you would like to share, or leave folks with some inspiring words?
Well, I've just been awfully proud to be a part of YSS, and it's not just because of the staff that are working here, but it's because of the community that supports YSS. We just have great community support, and it's just been awesome. And so I think I would just say, even I know I'm a YSS staff, but being a part of YSS is something special, and we just really encourage you to join in however you can.
Yeah, and I can't echo you enough. Here I go again, talking about that village. Mm-hmm. But it does. It takes the village and all of the support that makes everything that we do possible. And we've got great partners around YSS that make this part. We have individuals, we have businesses, we have volunteers. My goodness, I just saw a community report recently, hundreds of volunteers that give their time. And then of course we have our staff, truly a great team. And Thanksgiving just passed, and that was something I was very, very thankful for, is to be a part of this. And speaking of mentoring, Matthew, I saw a video today on Facebook, and with different people that are kind of jumping in with mentoring, but also with the holiday giving too. And so I think we have a video I would like to play, and let's leave us with this video that shows kind of a little bit of the impact that folks can have with holiday giving. And again, if you want to be a part of this, very simple, www.yss.org. Go there, check out the holiday giving, and please become a part of this. And make sure you tune in next week, 7 p.m. For our YSS Let's Talk. So Matthew Voorhees, our YSS Residential Program Director, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it. And we'll close out with a video. We might close out with a video. I'm not sure. And if anybody does want to know about this video that I keep speaking about, it is on the YSS Facebook page. You can find out, and it was a holiday giving video where I believe, I think I even have it written down. It was Remax, our Remax partners there. Oh my goodness, this is so awesome. I think we have it now. I'm going to stop talking and leave us with this.
Oh my gosh. This is amazing, Sarah. This is what it is all about, to be part of the Remax team and organizing for YSS. But you've done this. This is your, how many years in a row?
I've been helping in one facet or another with holiday giving at YSS for about 10 years. I'm on the YSS holiday giving committee, but with Sharon and Remax specifically, we've had a big chunk of that at Remax for, I think, 4 years now, I think.
This is amazing.
But this is by far our biggest year ever. So maybe Sharon can talk about what we did, what we've done there.
Yeah, so in the midst of a pandemic, the office closes down and we're like, how are we going to get the word out to people to donate, to give? But look at this. I mean, that didn't stop people from giving. The agents at our office are incredible. They have all stepped up to the plate. We adopted 8 families who we purchased Christmas gifts for, and that's not even represented here,
No,
right?
it's not. This is just the holiday giving tree. This is not even the stuff from the 8 families. That's probably another 2 SUVs full of stuff, I bet. Not even joking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's amazing what the generosity of the community has. People shared it with people that they knew, and they brought things in. So it's full circle. It's getting the community involved and helping our community with YSS.
Yeah. So, and the need is, it's always big. It's huge this year. So, and what you hinted at with Remax has definitely been the challenge with the committee, because as we headed into the season, we have, I think, typically about 9 or 10 holiday giving locations that have the giving trees with the tags. And this year, half of those were shut down because of COVID. So we've been doing this with about 5 or 6 locations this year, some of which have really struggled because they just don't have the foot traffic. So I think we started talking and meeting back in August about how are we going to take this online? How are we going to get the word out? And it's been a challenge, but I mean, we are doing fairly well, and we'll bring some more pictures to you guys over the next couple of days from the behind the scenes at YSS as the drop off starts happening and everything starts coming in. But I would also say the virtual tree as of yesterday at 4 o'clock was only at about 50% done. There's also a lot of tags left at North Grand Mall. There's 2 trees at North Grand Mall, one outside of TJ Maxx and one outside of Penny's. And I think what people don't realize is not only were there 190 families to be adopted, which have all been adopted in Ames. That's well, I shouldn't just say Ames, the general area, Story County, and so that's phenomenal. But I think what people don't realize is that a lot of the holiday giving, the giving trees specifically, go to support our programs and the kiddos that are in those programs and that are in shelter on Christmas. So, like when you see laundry baskets of cleaning supplies, those are going to some of our youth that are in the transitional living program, learning to live on their own, maybe aging out of foster care. The sweatshirts and socks and things are going to Rosedale Shelter and 7112 Recovery Center. It supports the Family Life Center. It supports the mentoring program. I could go on and on. So it's
All right, so there you have it. And you just heard, I hope you heard that. Thank you to Remax. Thank you to all of the partners at YSS that make the holiday giving possible. Thank you for jumping on board. And if you haven't jumped on board yet, please, www.yss.org. And there's virtual trees all around, and there's physical trees all around that you can go to be a part of. And you heard how you can be a part of giving, be it socks, be it different products. and to the residential programs, to the foster care programs, to all the clients, the families, the families in the communities that you live in. So again, www.yss.org. Again, my name is Rusty Johnson, YSS Prevention Specialist. Been talking with Matthew Voorhees, our YSS Residential Program Director. And thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. right here for YSS Let's Talk.